Every life is a journey and a story worth telling. And this is true of every business and nonprofit organization. We actually all could write a book, the sequel, and possibly the trilogy. Our story? We are the Dwelling Place Church. In 2009, we relocated from Brooklyn, New York with a single vision in our hearts: to build a sanctuary where God and man can dwell together. It was always meant to be a place where hope could be found, salvation could be experienced, and people could be loved. But I remember those first days in that apartment living room asking ourselves, how in the world do we even begin to do this thing called church? And we all know that nothing is really ever handed to anyone. Everything requires hard work and some kind of faith. But from that living room apartment, we moved to a rented house, and on August 16, 2009, we launched our church ministry. Eventually, we were able to move on and rent out church building space from several pastors who learned of our story. Till this day, we are grateful for their grace towards us in those beginning days. And on August 31st, 2013, we celebrated a grand opening service called Vision Night for a newly rented 5,700 square foot freestanding building located right on US Highway 192, here in the heart of Kissimmee. If only we had time to share the stories of the incredible families that found a home in us, and the community and needs surrounding us who we were able to serve through compassion and love through outreach efforts. And I cannot fail to mention all the tourists that came through those doors seeking a house of worship while on vacation. Till this day, we have long-lasting relationships. This entire journey has truly been about God leading us and the incredible people He has placed in our path. They are all part of the beautifully designed plan of God to help shape who we are today. Many of these people believed in us, experienced both victories and defeats, but together with their faith, we witnessed the vision come alive. But after 6 years, we were asked to leave the building because it was finally sold. And so we left in faith, trusting the Lord was leading us. We affirmed to ourselves, we're simply following the cloud. As the cloud of God's presence filled the tabernacle and led the children of Israel throughout the wilderness and to the promised land, we moved forward in faith, trusting God was leading us. God's cloud relocated us to the secluded, hidden, full gospel Bible campgrounds here in Kissimmee. In time, we realized God needed to isolate us. And many times, this is God's greatest plan for you. It's to get you alone with Him, almost hidden at times, where people aren't the priority, instead you are, all in order to make you better, restore you, and build you up. But only after a couple of months after relocating, we learned the building sale fell through. And being asked to leave the building for almost 2 years now, it had finally allowed for us to steward our finances greater, save in ways we never could, and give with open hands, helping families within our church in ways we never could, all in the midst of the devastating 2020 year. And now, today, we are beyond excited to announce that in leaving the building 2 years ago, by God's grace, we are now able to purchase the building we once struggled to afford at times. God has given us grace with the sellers, and on March 18th of this year, we signed and officially went under contract for the building with an anticipated closing date of June 18th. But a promise given by God isn't a promise handed. There is still work to be done, hills to climb and rivers to cross, faith and grace that is still needed. And so now we're reaching out and inviting you to take part in our story, this testimony in the making. Pastor Joe Bennett, our dear friend, gave us this word at the campgrounds before all of this unfolded.
The Lord said to me, He has a place for you. God will never, and I'm telling you by the Spirit of the Lord, He will never remove the requirement of faith to obtain what He wants for you. So don't just look for any place. You look for the place.
And so now we're asking for your support, your help. More so, we're asking for your grace. Grace is an incredible word. Ephesians 2:8 says, "For by grace you are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God." The word grace in the Greek is charis. It means graciousness, grace, favor. This cannot be earned or merited, only received. This is why it is a gift. And so by God's gift of charis, we are saved. The Apostle Paul encouraged the Corinthian church to be moved by and in charis, grace. He said in 2 Corinthians 8:7, "But since you excel in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in complete earnestness, and in the love we have kindled in you, see that you also excel in this grace of giving." And so today, humbly but unashamed, we ask for your charis. We cannot earn this from you, and we know it is surely unmerited. We can only invite you into our story, that you become a gift, that you become charis of God's grace to us. So what is the goal? It may seem impossible, but the entire story already is. And so we are believing to raise $100,000 in the next 3 months to secure everything needed for the closing and to securely move in. Again, it appears impossible for the size of our church, but we are reminded that God will not remove the requirement of faith for this. And the Bible tells us that with God, all things are possible. We also had to realize that we are not asking you for $100,000. That is the miracle, and only God can do that. What we are asking for is your charis, your grace in giving. If He can multiply fish and bread, He can surely multiply the gifts of grace given in faith.
It's strategic, it's accessible, and it's visible.
So today, we invite you to be part of our Charis Campaign. And so we thank you in advance for your gift, your favor, your grace. Together, we will see the promise, continue the vision, and serve the families and communities of Kissimmee.
Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to our story.
Yes, we are already grateful for your grace towards us. Even if you're unable to financially give, your prayers, your faith, and your belief go so far. Thank you for walking in faith with us. Together with you, we are changing our city and our community. God bless you.
God bless you.